Good, happy Monday morning. We got a lot of work to do this week. We are finally fully moved out to the new property here, and now comes the fun part of setting stuff up. Oh my word. There's something massive going down the driveway. Whoa. Thing is huge. It's a little getting used to living on a highway. The backyard, it's not that noticeable. Whatever. I see a lot of motorcycles, which is really exciting, very inspiring, but let's take a look at what we got to get done this week. This week is a very, very busy week. 3 older kids are gone, but we're going to use that time with like minimal distractions to get stuff put away. This was the last load of outside junk that I brought over. Ugh. Figured it's probably best just to break down what has to be done into little steps. So let's kind of walk through this. Oh, this was a little thing I never showed in my last video. So this was an office and it needs a little work. The floor needs to be replaced. Need to do some painting, cleaning, new lights. But this one main room right here is gonna be my wife's Etsy space. And then back here, this used to be my dad's office. This is gonna be my YouTube editing room. And you know, I could put like a little set there if I wanna do like talking headshots. I can do podcasting here, but yeah, I'll have my own dedicated workspace instead of where I do all my editing at the old place was underneath the stairs. I built a little sound studio in there. I need to take some of this stuff and get it up to the house so that my wife can get her sewing room organized, so that I can have workspace where I can leave a computer set up. That's not like the kitchen counter. And then I've done a little bit of work in here. I don't know for sure that this is gonna stay. I'll probably put my Simple Little Life sign up there. And then I'm probably gonna do just a shelf along this whole thing, because a lot of the stuff in my other shop was just shelf mounted. It's a setup that worked well for me. I enjoyed it. Lots of you folks had some great suggestions about setting up various components in the shop. One thing that came up over and over again was to take the bicycle room and turn it into a grinding room. But first of all, I mean, maybe a lot of folks probably don't understand how much I love bicycles, and if I have a bicycle room, I'm not giving it up. I mean, look at all these Surleys. It's Crosscheck, Karate Monkey, Moonlander, 5-inch wide tires, Steamroller, my other Crosscheck, my son's Crosscheck, and there are bikes upstairs here too. I'm a bicycle fanatic. So this is not gonna be a grinding room. It's also a little too big for a grinding only room. You know, I mean, 3 grinders would go right there. What do I do with all this space? But just because this isn't gonna be a grinding room doesn't mean I'm not gonna have a grinding room. Brilliant idea. I love the idea of a grinding room to keep all that stuff contained. Cleaning up this area is gonna be part of my project for the week. Basically, I would love to, by the end of this week, be essentially set up and ready to start cranking out knives. This room, this little, what used to be like a tool storage room, this is gonna become the grinding room. It is much smaller, probably like 1/3 of the size of the other room, but there's enough room in here. Look, I mean, I got 3 grinders in here, easy, easy. And then right above this room is that little room. And in that room, I can put a dust collection and just go right through the floor here. So I think I'll have my grinder set up here. I have to get all this stuff out, which is gonna be quite a bit of work, but I think this will be doable. So by the end of this week, I really want this to be a grinding room that I can grind knives in. I need to get some semblance set up of this area. A lot of this stuff is just storage that I need to do. You know, I need to put up some shelving and... All right, got my box of video camera gear. So, that's exciting. Now ultimately I think I'm gonna end up setting this area up just like my garage. And that may not be the right thing to do because I don't know if that was the most efficient way to work. Having said that, it was a smaller space and I was able to do a lot of work, so it must be fairly efficient. But it's familiar to me. It's what I know, you know? So, you know, that white thing right there, this thing being here, I think I'm gonna put a 4x8 table in here with a sacrificial top. And that could be like a main working table, place for things to go onto. I'll put cupboards underneath it. And so this, I'm gonna try and just work out to do most of my things in this space. Even the Etsy stuff for right now. Got some signs drawing over there. The motorbikes will be completely separate. This roll cab will live with the motorbikes. And then also the bicycle stuff. Boom, all on its own. I'd love to get that set up this week. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but a couple of projects I need to take on right away. First thing, we've got a shelving unit in this office. I'm gonna move over there so that all my boys' helmets and stuff can go in there. And then I desperately need to get, I don't know if it's a 50 amp feed, but it's got a 50 amp outlet. And I like these kind, personally. So I have this set up for 30 amp, and I want one that's, I should actually find out. Yeah, so that ain't gonna work. That's not gonna work for me. So I need to swap this out, probably pick up one of those from Princess Auto, and then I'm also gonna grab a bunch of casters because they're on sale right now. And one of the first things I'm gonna do is make a whole bunch of carts for things like my wood planer sitting over there. It's gonna be on its own cart. I can wheel it around, work with it where I need to. That was another great suggestion you guys had. Put everything on carts, especially until I figure out the workflow. You know, if you had everything on, on casters, put everything on casters. If you had everything on casters, you can move around your shop, you can figure things out, change it up constantly, or find just like the dream setup that really, really works for you. So I think I'm gonna do that. That was a great suggestion. Thank you for that. But yeah, I'm gonna whip into Princess Auto, grab casters. They're on sale. Like to get my hand sanding machine put on its own stand on casters. I think for that one I'm going to, oh shoot, I can't, that's too tall. I wanted it to slide under here when not in use, but just because of this big outrigger thing, maybe we'll go over this in a little more detail, but okay, let's just start setting stuff up, see what kind of progress we can make. Get the old water back out of the way. All right, folks, we are back on day number 2 of, well, it's progressing very slowly. I ended up doing a few trips to Princess Auto yesterday. I've got a trip going there today to buy some steel, but what I'm really hoping to get to today is to be at the point where we start welding up a couple stands for some tools. And then I'd like to get some shelving done up there. I'm still not entirely sure what I'm gonna do. I think I might take some steel tubing and weld an L bracket. Screw that, you see the screws are on a horizontal plane there, so the strapping, like the wood, runs this way. So I can pop those in like that, and then if it's an L bracket, I'll screw it in up here, and the shelf will be a little bit lower, and I think that's gonna make a huge difference. Also, I found out Princess Auto has steel pegboard, so I think I'm gonna get some and just weld it to this metal backsplash. And then, yeah, with all the shelving in place and all this stuff done, this here little table is just a temporary thing. This will probably end up going in my wife's Etsy area because she uses this for that stuff, but it's just kind of nice to have a space to put stuff where you're working on. You know, all the stuff can just pile onto it and never get dealt with. Love that. Today there's a heat warning. We're supposed to get up to 31 degrees Celsius, which is something in Fahrenheit. I think it's gonna be a great day. I think we're gonna make some good progress. And what I'm kind of starting to do is get this side set up. So this little corner of the shop, this will be the priority. Once that's done, I'll likely move to that area, just because that area, it's gonna be good for a lot of woodworking tools and tool storage. You know, like under here, there's a lot of not very well utilized space. And then all the potential here, I think I'm gonna take my bolt bin, I put it out there, but I'm just gonna dedicate a spot here and commit to it. Because it'd be nice to have like just, boom, all my fasteners right there. Need to make a table for that, for the other drill press. Not sure where those are gonna go yet. So I think the air compressor is gonna live here. This is my TIG welder, and that's gonna probably live there. I've got my MIG under there, and then my plasma cutter. That actually might get its own cart because I don't like it being on here, just from a cord management standpoint. For the last like 8 years, I've always had small, no, my whole life, let's just say my whole life, I've had small spaces. Any workshop I've ever had has been in a garage. The shipping container when I was working there, and then the garage again. And in the garage, it was half of a garage. And you know, one of the beauties about knife making is you don't need a lot of room. You can do it in a little shed out in your garden if you wanted to. But you know, having the potential to do bigger stuff, I think of this shop in the terms of it as a manufacturing facility, which it was, which I worked here. And I'm having to kind of unthink that stuff because, you know, I was thinking about where my drill press is going. I'm like, yeah, but I need to be able to run 20-foot, 10-foot sheets of angle iron to drill the holes, because that's what I did in here. But then I got thinking about it. Chances are I'm not going to be drilling 10-foot lengths of steel all that often. Maybe never, probably will, but what would be so wrong if that one time where I've got a huge project, unbolting it from a, you know, a nice little nook, or here, actually, I'm still thinking about a drill press right here. You know, just thinking about the fact that I'm still, in a sense, setting up a small, efficient workspace. I'm not trying to work with huge pieces of steel, and that's the kind of little adjustment I've had to make. This is still just me putzing around. You know, a nice, big, huge workbench would be great if we decide we want to build a go-kart. We've got an airplane engine for an ultralight that'd be nice to set up and work on, but I'm still just tinkering around with small pieces, small area. So once I kind of, oh yes, I don't need a drill press location that can handle 10 feet in feed and out feed. I don't need that. You know, if we have something like that, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but it's going to be highly unlikely, you know, with the regularity of the stuff that I do. But anyways, this thing, whew, back in there, slick as a whistle. All right, let's get on to it. Let's get some more stuff done. We'll get this electrical thing all sorted out there. We'll get the air compressor sorted out. I got these big, huge hooks from Princess Auto because I have found that I have more extension cords than, you know, whole counties do in some places. And I would like to hang those up so that they're not on the floor. We've got them on the floor over there. There's a whole bunch there. There's some on the floor over there. If you look over here, some on the floor, there's one hanging up there. Anyways, I got a lot of them and I need to do something with them. So, all right, so mount this wall bracket. There, looks good to me. Oh, we're only at 30 psi, but let's open this up. Yeah. have to figure a way to get this thing to stop moving. Critical part of a shop, having compressed air. Way more important even than water, in my opinion. You got electricity, obviously you don't have electricity, you don't have air, but one of the next things you really want to think about is air. At least in my opinion, I've got a lot of air tools. I use air in a lot of my processes for cleaning things, for dusting stuff off, all kinds of stuff. Compressed air, I love it. Galvanized pegboard. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to trim this down, grind the edges. I'm just gonna weld it onto that backsplash. And I also picked up some random lifting straps, slings, stuff and such and whatnot, and things of this nature. So with this pegboard, this here, they got a bunch of different sizes. This is 16" by 32, and I think it's gonna be absolutely perfect for here. Yeah, that's excellent. I think the proper way to do this is gonna be get rid of everything on here. Right, it's nice to see some bench top surface again. This is quite a deep bench. It's actually 3 feet deep. So that's pretty deep. So what I think I'll do is I'll just kind of put this even with the top. One there, and then we should have room for one more. That's gonna be great. That's probably about what I had at the last shop, and we'll have it up like that, because obviously really don't need to hang too much down low. I'm going to zip off the zinc, or the galvanizing. That stuff is really bad. Get yourself some zinc chills if you weld that stuff up. I've had them before, they're not fun. And apparently, once you get it one time, you are far more susceptible in the future, so it's best just to never weld galvanized or zinc plated stuff. You can tell if you've welded something that's galvanized because it'll have white wispy, it looks like spider webs that come off of it. And there'll be white stuff all around it. So it's actually a really nice light coat of galvanized, and you can kind of tell, you can tell right there once you've got it. So those should be good to weld now. And then I'll also grind the inside. .32, so we're gonna go 64 inches. Hi-ya! All right. Beauty. There's nothing wrong with that. I like it. All right, so trying to sort out the audio, and I think I'm gonna make a little modification. Right now I've just got this little Rode thing, but I wanna use a lav mic, so I'm gonna make a little incision right here, being careful not to cut myself. Slip this little sucker through. Now I'll take this thing off, and be getting audio from here. Does that sound any better? I hope so. So I'm pretty happy with how it's coming so far. I think I'm gonna mount my bench vise right here at the end. I find it a very practical spot to be on the corner of a bench. Yeah, let's do that. That's another part. You know, you got your compressed air, a shop vise. That's another thing that's really handy to have. So many things depend on it, right? You can use your vise to build shelves, to build all kinds of stuff. It's kind of like a staple, and so that's kind of what I'm going with. I've got air, welding, I've got cutting with angle grinders and stuff, but I think the next thing will be the portaband. And we'll get that set up right over here. You know, I don't want to go crazy and pop holes in this top, because if you end, I guess I could just weld them in and grind it smooth, but trying to do this in a manner that I'm not just going to end up with like a cheese grater because I've moved things around so much. Just take our time, trying to think this stuff out. If you guys have suggestions as you see me doing things, I would love to hear them. Hear what you guys have to say, because there's a lot of people that have done unique things in their shop that I'm setting this thing up as my shop was. And so I'm kind of working with blinders on, in a sense that, you know, the way that I knew was the way that I did it before. A lot of guys, maybe you set a shop up without seeing somebody else's shop, and you come up with some great layouts, all, you know, from your own ideas. So if you've got some things that you're seeing me do, I would sure love to hear them. I'm not saying that I'm gonna build it exactly how you would like it, but man, I love hearing input and feedback from you guys and other folks that spend time out in their shops. Okay, let's get this thing mounted. Well, I think from here, what I'm gonna do for the rest of the day is a little bit of putting around. I just don't know about the portaband. Like, it seems weird if you put a portaband right here. This may be a tool that ends up on a stand. If I made a roller stand with a heavy base, I could even add weight to it and just wheel it around. I'm not sure. I don't think I want it over there, because that, again, is mostly going to be motorcycle stuff and other projects. This is going to be the fabrication area. I'm thinking drill presses will be there. I don't know. What do you guys think on this specifically? Would you guys mount a portaband right here? Or is that bad spot? I don't know if this thing will stay up. Oh, nope. Like, if it was there, then I'd have to run the controls for the foot switch down below. I would lose storage underneath there. I think this is going to be a wait for a bit. If I need to, I could just put it in my bench vise for now. I'm going to think about this one for a little bit. And I think I'm going to kind of putz around a little bit, do a little bit more organizing, and kind of wrap this video up here. It's getting on towards dinner time, so this is like the end of day 2. And man, oh man, I don't know. I thought I'd be making better progress. But I guess having said that, this is a huge amount of work. It's way more work than I thought this would be. It's actually a lot of fun, but it's exhausting because you're always, I don't know. It's just too many options. Too many options. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you on the next video. Cheers.